now we are going to discuss about alcohol. So these are some common names of alcohol and its products in northern part of the country, in North India, in our region, where we are right now in Delhi, in northern region. We call it daru, sharab, lal pari, whiskey, malta, kham, संतरा, गुड़की, हवालदार, जुगनी, रसीला, पौवा, wine. There are many names. So, is there any name in your part of the world, in your area, which I have missed? Any name that you also know about alcohol?
Sir, jam.
Jam. Jam. Okay. 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 Madira. 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 Okay. Any other name? So what is alcohol? Alcohol is an ingredient food in beer, wine and spirits. It's alcohol which is available, which is part of content of found in beer, wine and spirits. Alcohol is found in the sugars of different foods. For example, wine is made from sugar in grapes. Beer is made from the sugar in malta barley, a type of grain. Vodka, as an example, is a spirit made from the sugar in potatoes and other plants. Alcohol is a which category of psychoactive drug? No, it's a
Stimulant.
No, it's a depressant. Alcohol is a depressant. Alcohol is one of the licit legal psychoactive drug and it's a depressant. It slows down the messaging between brain and our body. So what is the most common way of having alcohol is swallowing, the way we take water, drinking. Orally we take it in our mouth. Now alcohol, it's a liquid and it comes in range of colors. It can be blue, it can be colorless also like water, it could be red, so it comes in different colors. So there are short-term effects, immediate effects, relaxation, then happy or sad, depends on the mood, increased confidence, then again short term, reduced coordination, then trouble in concentrating on anything, and slurred speech, not being able to speak properly, slurred speech. Long term, loss of memory, confusion, depression, sadness, cancers in stomach, liver and mouth. Other long-term effects are that you lose your money, you may lose your job, because if you do not go to your office, obviously, and if you go under the influence of alcohol to your office, obviously you might lose your job. You will be having the trouble in your family, your immediate family, your spouse, your parents, your children might be uncomfortable, there will be issues in the family. There will be some social issues, social problems might be there with your immediate neighbors or your immediate family. There is a greater risk of lung infection and heart diseases. There is a difficulty in reproduction as well. So the person may not have the ability to produce children. There is weight gain and muscle weakness. Muscles become weak. Other negative effects of alcohol are mixing with other drugs. Mixing alcohol with other drugs, such as prescription drugs, prescribed drugs, can be unpredictable. We don't know what may happen, and can be dangerous sometimes, which may lead to death. Need to drink more to get same effect, which leads to drug dependence. Alcohol used for those under 18 can affect their brain development. The development of brain will be affected. Younger a person is when drinking alcohol, the more likely they will become, or they will continue to do so as they get older. Drinking alcohol and driving can lead to injury or fatal accident. The person can even die. So anybody can volunteer. We have drawn this body, human body. What you have to highlight are the parts of body in which alcohol can damage your health. Particularly heavy alcohol drinking in the long run. What will be the effects? Which body parts will be affected due to long-term use of alcohol? So a volunteer from you will have to come and help us find those body parts in that image of a human being. All right? Anybody can come? Yeah, please come. Please highlight the body parts which will be affected due to long-term alcohol use with the help of that chalk. Liver, okay. Anybody else would like to come? She spoke of liver. Anything else? You can name the organ and just indicate it. You don't have to write it.
First of all, it's brain itself.
Brain. You don't have to write it, no problem. Okay. Just brain.
And arteries and veins.
Which other part can be affected?
Mouth can be.
Mouth, yes.
Yeah, mouth can be affected.
Mouth. Cancer of mouth, we said.
Yes, and
throat, mouth, both. Okay.
Yes, throat and mouth. And
yes, fine, good. What else?
The standing ability. And,
standing ability.
Yeah.
Okay. So legs, you mean?
Yeah. And
all right.
Eyes can be
eyes,
the part.
Fine.
Basically, whole the body.
Whole body. All right. All right. Please. Thank you. So, as he said, brain. So, memory loss. Also, we spoke of memory loss and depression. We spoke of so both the things. Again, brain will get engaged. Premature aging. So, it will show on your face wrinkles. Then cancer of, he also mentioned cancer of mouth and the throat. Heart trouble, somewhere here, heart trouble, heart disease. Risk of pneumonia because it affects our lungs. Then stomach problems, somewhere here is our stomach problems. Liver, you spoke of liver will be damaged. Then you will trembling hands, it will affect our hands. Trembling hands. Ulcers in the stomach, again referring to stomach, ulcer in the stomach. Falls, again you spoke of the legs, fall because lack of coordination. Painful nerves, he spoke of the nerves get engaged, so painful nerves. In men, we spoke of impotency. We spoke of the not having the ability to produce, impaired sexual performance in men, inflammation of the pancreas, which are somewhere here. Pancreas will get affected. So, as you rightly pointed out, it's almost the entire body which will get affected due to long-term alcohol use. You must have noticed the short-term effects of alcohol also are not that positive. And when we say so, talking about depression, cancer in some of our body parts, including mouth, stomach. These are not something which are positive effects. Trouble concentrating, your students, you are studying, so concentration, trouble in concentrating, trouble in even studying, being able to study properly. So these are not positive effects if someone is having alcohol. Second, despite whatever we have discussed in terms of the short-term and long-term effects, this drug is legal. This drug, alcohol, is a legal drug. We discussed about alcohol. We'll be now learning about another drug, which is tobacco. Tobacco again has different names. I am referring to the names which are commonly used in northern part of the country. We call it bidi, tambaku. We call it zarda. We call it cigarette, kheni, hookah, yangu, gutka, chenni, kuber, chilam, kulip, udta panchi, patta, tali, sundar, ragda, sonpatti, pila patti. Any other names that you can think of for tobacco?
सर रजनीगंधा.
विमल पान मसाला, अमला पसंद,
जुबा केसरी,
सर शिखर.
Shikhar, you are all absolutely right. Tobacco, how it looks like? It looks like these are dried yellow brown and curly leaves. So what is tobacco? We are referring to the leaves. The leaves in tobacco plant contain nicotine. This is the main drug found in tobacco that is most easy to become dependent on. It's highly addictive, due to which we get dependent on them. Tar, it also contains tar, which causes cancer and stains in our teeth. Our teeth may become yellow. And it may also make our fingers look yellowish. And tobacco has carbon monoxide, gas that comes from a lit cigarette and can cause heart to suddenly stop. Tobacco is which category of psychoactive drug?
सर स्टिमुलेंट्स.
It's a stimulant. It speeds up the message between our brain and the body. So the most common way of having tobacco is
Mouth.
mouth. So we chew them, you have them orally, or we smoke if it's a cigarette, it's smoked. Even bidi is smoked, or it can be sniffed. Short-term effects. It's a stimulant, so you are more alert, relaxed, bad breath, weaker sense of smell and taste. There are other short-term effects which are dizziness and faster heartbeat and increased blood pressure. Reduced appetite, people may not feel hungry anymore. Again, some long-term effects, it's shortness of breath, coughing, and again various cancers such as throat, lung, stomach, and bladder. These are the other long-term effects. There are more long-term effects. Facial wrinkles, you may look older. Yellow and rotting teeth, yellowish teeth. Needing more to get same effect. Every time you have tobacco, next time you need more to get that effect. So the increase in use of tobacco. Mood swings, happy, or maybe angry, or even sad. Regular cold and flu, and sometimes heart may stop functioning. So as you may have heard from the consequences of long-term consequences of tobacco. Tobacco can reduce many years of our life. Long-term use of tobacco can reduce many years of our life. For the years of being alive, as long as we are alive, many years can be spent suffering from various serious illnesses that could have been prevented had we not used tobacco. Nicotine is the drug in tobacco which causes high dependency. It's a highly toxic chemical, and once inhaled, smoked, affects the body very quickly. Within seconds, nicotine reaches the brain. Passive or second-hand smoking of tobacco occurs when a non-smoker of a tobacco involuntarily breathes in smoke from other person's cigarette, e-cigarettes, cigars, or even pipes. Passive smoking can occur when you are in a same room, house or car or a public place as smoking of tobacco, as the one who is smoker of a tobacco. The smoke of tobacco contains toxic substances that can damage the health of anyone who breathes it in. So now there is a 5-minute activity. You just need to write the response in your pad. I am going to read out a question. You are only going to write the response in your pad. And the response can be yes or no. Does anyone in your family use tobacco? Yes, no. Just write it. Second question. Do any of your friends use tobacco? Yes or no? Are you often in places where other people use tobacco? Fourth, do you believe that if your friends use tobacco, you will do the same? Yes, no. Last question. Are there times when you feel that others would like you to use tobacco? So, a piece of information. If most of you have responded as a no to your questions that I just asked, you are at a low risk of using tobacco. If you have responded as yes to most of the questions, you are vulnerable to experimenting with tobacco. Most people who use tobacco never actually intended to do so. They never intended to be dependent on tobacco. Tobacco users usually start by just giving it a try. They just try it. But because nicotine is highly addictive, they quickly become dependent on tobacco. Making a firm commitment not to use tobacco is a protection against future use. We have to make a commitment to ourselves. We will not use it for our own health, for our own good, so that we do not use it in future. The more someone is surrounded by tobacco users, the more likely they are to try using tobacco themselves. Drug dependence. Being dependent on a drug, which may be alcohol or tobacco. Drug dependence is when a person needs to take a particular substance consistently and routinely. It becomes part of routine in order to feel normal. In order to feel normal, someone needs the particular substance consistently as a routine. with day in and day out of living. If a person stops or reduces taking the drug, they start experiencing a range of uncomfortable withdrawal symptoms that are physical, such as stomach cramps, sweating, and feeling sick within. And it could be psychological, such as being nervous, angry, lack of concentration, not being able to concentrate. Withdrawal symptoms are commonly relieved by resuming the use of a particular drug, substance. This is a condition which is what we call drug dependence. If as a student, this is something, a message to all the students here, if as a student you are going to experiment with tobacco, it is worth knowing about and being aware of the short and long term effects of smoking decision. The short term and long term effects that we just spoke of, it is very important to have all these short term and long term effects in our mind, if at all ever any one of us would be going to experiment with tobacco. We must know it. The younger a person starts using tobacco, the more likely they are to become a lifelong regular user of a drug called tobacco.